Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. And welcome back everybody to a bit more of our solo character challenge Necromancer. We just arrived at the tower that is known as the barrier tower, there we go. And we will have a bit of a meeting up there with a certain big boss that I'm not entirely sure how we will take out yet. Whether I will be able to take him out straight up or whether there will be a little bit more involved. We'll see. I hope you guys are having a pleasant day so far. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. How was the chemist playthrough? Chemist playthrough was very solid. We did get pretty unlucky towards the end, but we did manage to defeat both the super bosses without berserking them, and also managed to win within reasonable speed once I eventually, finally, at last, implemented the correct tactics. It was not all too bad or difficult, I dare to say. Alrighty, the question is whether I want a barrier or a wall ring right here, because unlike most other solo characters, we don't really want to employ You'll miss this fine, actually. We don't necessarily want to employ the traditional way of defeating Exdeath, since we have to kill him real quick. Or maybe also get a bit lucky, I don't know. So what I'm looking for is actually the fight with two wall knights and the little magnet thing is magnetites, because they give us a 1 in 16 chance for each wall knight to drop a wall ring. A wall ring is a ring that, or an accessory that, there we go, that gives us reflect, meaning all spells that can be reflected will be reflected automatically in the combat where we have that piece of equipment on us. And Just Johnny, thank you for the host, I appreciate that. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. So, but we are actually already out of MP, which means we have to kind of go to the next save point in order to recover our MP with some cottages, or use an elixir in order to recover it. But also, simultaneously, in this tower here, we actually get the first opportunity where we will be able to get a really powerful piece of equipment for our head that will allow us to cut all the magic cost in half. The gold hairpin. And there's really not much of a reason to ever equip anything else. Like, we have a mage cap later, which would give us +3 to our magic power, but we can't just use twice the amount of magics if we use the gold needle instead, plus we pretty much one-shot everything anyways. So before I do anything else, I'm gonna sort the inventory here, so it's a little bit more organized. You wish instead of a wall ring it dropped a walrus? I will be slightly different than that to say. Thank you very much. I wanted to get into an encounter here real quick just to finish off my allies so they can sleep. Alrighty, so we actually need to backtrack a little bit for that wall ring, for the gold hairpin. Let's see how this is going to go. I'm just gonna finish up these enemies here too. All the magnetites do is ever use magnets. Unless they're alone, then they will start attacking. Either way, all of those enemies have about 1600 to 2000 HP maximum, so we easily one-shot them. However, these guys here will not be quite as easy usually. What I'm gonna do is I will be equipping a flame ring, but hope that it's actually 2 yellow dragons. And it's not. Actually, yellow dragons would be even worse. So this is a red dragon, He absolutely loves to use Atomic Ray and is immune against fire, only weak against ice. I believe he absorbs poison as well, because he is undead and most undead do. Let's just check. Let's see. No, he doesn't. Alrighty, so we can just finish him off with poison. But I equipped the Flame Ring in order to absorb fire damage here. There is also the chance that this encounter instead would be 2 yellow dragons. I don't know if this guy could take poison. It could be 2 yellow dragons, which can use thunder, which deals 25% of our maximum health and damage. So just 4 of those spells would instantly, well, not instantly, but straight up kill us. And we have the gold hairpin. It doesn't actually offer anything aside from the half magic cost, so it's kind of a weak headgear in other respects. But it's just so good for that one thing it does. So, let's go. Level trickers use level 4 Graviga if you have a level multiple of 4. Also, our Evil Miss only costs 19 now. Pretty awesome. If you have a multiple of level 4, they will be able to hit you with that. Hey Just Johnny, welcome. How are you doing? And thank you very much for the host. I appreciate that. How are you doing? And if I may ask, what were you doing? So I'm just going to farm a wall ring for I don't know what reason. But it might come in handy. It is pretty decent experience here too. And we kill everything in just one sweep. How much experience is it? 2030, so this is significantly more than the Black Flames. Wow, all of them go before me, that's just rude. You're doing pretty good? That sounds nice. I'm doing quite fine as well, thank you. Off guard reduces our defense by half. Which I believe it doesn't stack, but I'm not sure about that. It's a blue magic. You can get it with your blue mage too. Either way, they gave us 3010 experience. So what I'm actually gonna do right now is I will check. I equip the wizard's hat instead. I get +1 magic power. Nothing else gives me magic power, right? The elemental actually gives me +1 more. I should actually equip the elemental regardless. So we can get 56 magic power. So what I want to do right now is I want to calculate real quick. And I should probably actually copy that formula over at some point. Because it's in a separate spreadsheet, which is a bit more difficult to display. Either way, what I want to do is real quick check. We have 56 or 55 magic power. And in Final Fantasy V, you do not gain a little bit more damage each level. You actually gain more damage in jumps. And depending on how much magic power we have, those jumps might be one closer if we have just one more magic power. Currently we are at level 41, which actually at level 42 we gain just a little bit more damage. Oh, we are 42 already, never mind. At level 42 we gain a bit more damage, and it doesn't matter whether we have the magic cap equipped or not. However, if we are at level 46 instead, we would get an additional attack magic multiplier. With the cap. The cap? Well, the magic hat. Whereas with the gold pin we do not. So why is that relevant? The reason why that's relevant is because upcoming is a boss called Atmos. And Atmos is one of those bosses where traditionally solo characters have to use a bit of a not entirely solo strategy to take out Atmos. And that strategy usually revolves around being able to deal enough damage while you kill off your allies one by one. Let me just explain how the boss works. Basically, as long as one of your allies is dead on the ground, he will suck that character in, or all of them, so right now it would be our entire team, towards him. as soon as they reach Atmos, Atmos will remove them from combat, and that's that. And as long as no character is dead in combat, which means either removed or all of them are alive, Atmos will end up using Comet. Atmos inherently has haste, which means he is going about 3 times faster than I do, well, 2.5 to 3 times. Which means he can use Comet up to 2 times per turn, so worst case scenario, he throws 3 Comets at us. Comet is anywhere between 200 and 1500 damage per Comet. So it's insanely powerful what Atmos can dish out in terms of damage in a very, very short time frame. And you really don't want to experience that, preferably. We probably have enough HP right now to survive 1 round of him throwing comets at us. But we only have a very limited amount of turns in order to defeat him. So, if I would do reliably 4000 damage with each one of those evil mists, I would only need 5 spellcasts because he has 20,000 HP. If I deal any less than 4000, I need 6 spellcasts. So, potentially it might be worthwhile for me to try and go for just a few more levels in order to defeat him. Since if I start with all my party members dead right away, he will just suck them all in at the same time and get to his comet phase really fast. A lot of the soul characters just straight up don't have enough damage to deal with that within that short time frame. Some do, others have other strategies, but most of the time we would be in pretty big trouble against Atmos if we don't allow ourselves to kill off our allies one by one. Essentially, Galuf gets dragged over there, and Lena and Ferris are just standing, and then we kill off Lena, then she gets dragged over there, then we kill off Galuf, etc. And the reason why that is traditionally done in solo character challenge runs, for characters that don't have enough damage to straight up kill Atmos, is because your alternative would be what the White Mage and the Thief do, and grind up to like level 70 or so in order to survive for long enough against Atmos. So you can run either Atmos out of MP, or you would be able to eventually defeat him by sneaking in attacks when he gets a weak round of combat in between elixirs. So you would need to grind a ton of levels, a ton of elixirs. That's just not a whole lot of fun, let's put it that way. So that's kind of how that's going to go. I will first of all try whether we can, maybe with just one more level, get 4000 damage per turn and see how that's gonna go. Actually, what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna check those ziggurat enemies. Those ziggurat enemies have 10 magic defense, and Atmos has 20 magic defense. So if we cannot deal 4000 damage to a ziggurat enemy, we will not be able to deal any damage or 4000 damage to Atmos either. But my hope is that just in the next level, which is gonna be at level 46, we will be able to defeat Atmos with a little bit of luck. That green goop reminds you of Shadowgate's Slime Coffin. Interesting. Never played Shadowgate. Actually, how much defense do those magnetite thingies have? Magnetite. I think they're called magnetes in the... yeah, there it is. They have only 5 magic defense? Strange. I'm effectively killing all the enemies, even if it's just a single guy, because I only have that much HP to work with, and I just want to use a cottage as soon as we go through. So this means I'm just gonna go ahead and level up to level 46. Which shouldn't take too long, because this is a really efficient way to grind right here. I might be able to do this more efficiently inside, maybe? I don't actually know. Let's see how much experience the encounters inside here give. This is the same encounter as outside. $2,130. Let's save real quick. Same encounter. I mean, if we get eventually a wall ring along the way too, that would be nice, but I'm not sure I will have much use for it. I see. Yeah, there are encounters in that room. Oh, we get a dream harp. That's a rare drop from the witch in the moon type enemy. Neons. Such weird enemies, yeah. This is my last evil mist here. Before I need to use a cottage. But this is why I bought so many cottages. Even with the gold hairpin, you burn through your mana real fast. Let's see, we are level 43. Let's see what enemies we encounter here. Still looks like the same bunch. Level 4 Graviga is going to be super scary once you level up more. Yeah, level spells always hit, unless you're immune to them entirely. Actually, even if you're immune to the effect, they will still often hit. Kinda weird. True. Hey, we even get a Gaia gear. So if I go up those stairs here, I get into the boss battle, so I don't want to do that quite yet. I figure if I just gain one more level, I might have a reasonable shot at defeating Atmos straight up without having to resort to bringing the other guys up, but if it would be like another multiplier that I would need to reach, I'm not gonna do it. Only Final Fantasy V has sleeping bags. Yeah, that would actually be amazing. Sleeping bags would be perfect for this kind of thing, since they would only affect a single person. We should implement some sleeping bags here. Let's look at the challenge runs. Not a big fan of those encounters here. We haven't actually had a single encounter with the 2 wall knights and 2 magnetites. I'm gonna walk a little bit further down, since the encounters do change based on which floor you're on. In here I know there's single wall knights potential. Let's see here. Okay. Time slip is actually really not pleasant, because it essentially robs us of our turn. It puts us to sleep and puts the aging status effect on us, which means we gradually lose stats but also levels, which means we will deal significantly less damage. So this might already be a reason not to grind here alone. Are you serious? That's unlikely. That's incredibly unlikely. Stop. The thing is, we can even resist that time slip. It doesn't have a particularly good accuracy. I think we are higher level than the enemy, so the chance is even reduced further. And we even have a bunch of magic evasion, which should have another chance to avoid that. Maybe it's even further down. I haven't seen a single new encounter, have I? Evil parking meters, yep. That's all about right. I have the slight suspicion that I would need one more set of multipliers in order to deal 4000 damage reliably to Atmos. Which wouldn't be the worst to grind, but then we are going to be even more powerful for the rest of the game. Because we grinded. Frog Mary and Key Paladin, thank you for the host, I appreciate that, guys. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I feel like I've seen this area before. Have I gone backwards and then backwards again? Really? I don't even know what the probability of this thing using time slip is. No, we are at the bottom now. I guess there's two interior rooms that look the exact same. These ones here. Let's see real quick. There, this is the encounter I want. But please, no back attack. By the way, exactly. I was about to say, we do have the elf cave, so some physical evasion would be nice once in a while. In a level, but it's not all that much experience actually. And again, I don't actually have a use for the wall ring right now. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. Hey, you missed for once. Yeah, I'm gonna go back up. I think the encounters up there were nicer. On average anyways. In here, by the way, is gonna be kind of a nice place to grind for the Geomancer. But getting here will be quite the task. What level are we? I know we just leveled up. 44, so 2 more levels. And we have an additional magic attack multiplier. Not exactly what I'm hoping for to encounter out here. Still 1200 experience, so it's pretty solid. But it's way too common. Letlin, thank you very much for dropping by. I wish you good night and take care. Thank you very much. Hey, the traveler can actually use something else aside from time slip. Yeah, I should be outside. Single ziggurats are better than single neons, although I think the single neons are actually kind of a rare encounter, if I'm not mistaken. So it shouldn't be all that frequent. But we can't even find any wall knights in here, which would be unfortunate. How much MP do we have left? Nothing. Haha, good timing. It's actually mildly inconvenient because we have just low enough agility on the Necromancer that the enemies go before us. Other classes have no trouble just going easily before all of the enemies reliably, but I guess not Necromancer. Oh, Hurricane is really mean. Here, I'll give you this in return. To be fair, I'm not much nicer, all things considered. But this cost me 5 high potions. Well, technically 6, but... I don't have to heal to full, I don't think. I did not even know those guys could use Hurricane. Until just now. Preemptive strike, nice. This is a really good encounter for experience. That's all I'm looking for right now. Maybe I should unequip the Oath ability so I don't accidentally use it anymore. Then again, if I ever run out of MP in combat, it might be the most... or the best approach to just use Oath instead of trying to use Ethers or anything else. I think actually I don't even need the... I'm actually gonna go for the Mangosh now and use the Wind attack instead, because on one hand it has a quicker animation, and on the other hand I now have a higher chance of blocking attacks. Because I don't think they have enough HP to even survive a regular Hellwind attack. Although I guess the Ziggurats might be resistant against wind? I don't think they are, but they are not. I don't know. 3 Neons, how much experience are you? That's probably the rare encounter. 1800, pretty solid. Even your strength, a good dagger can still put in work. Well, I guess that's not wrong. I would rather use a dancing dagger than Oath most of the time, unless the enemy is literally almost dead. We've gotten 3 rare drops so far, no wall rings among them unfortunately. Actually going to be mildly inconvenient switching back to the Super Nintendo version, because I'm now so used to this traveling and walking speed, which is so nice for grinding. Oh, okay. So the Ziggurat still died. But... oh, he does survive too. The other guy died because he was petrified rather than anything else. So we have to use a Poison Rod and also Evil Mist to reliably kill everything here. We also only need 1 more level. We did, by the way, master our Necromancer class. We could make ourselves double undead, become undead, take damage from recover items or magic. Why would he ever equip that? Seriously? Why would he do that? Like, there doesn't seem to be any reason whatsoever to ever do that. No, it's not bone mail, unfortunately. You do not get healed by poison. Yeah, without the stats, without the immunities, and without the poison absorb. The only advantage is if the enemy was just excessive with absorbing HP from you, because that effect gets reversed. And I don't think there's any enemy like that. Well, maybe except for the grey slimes we fought earlier. But it's kind of strange to specifically gear up for those guys, I guess. So how much experience do we need? 27,500. I would guess that's like 20 battles. Unless we get those here, those are really fast. I have a slight suspicion I'm not gonna deal quite enough damage to kill Atmos in 6 attacks. Wait, 6? 5. The spawn mail on Necromancer negate the undead flag. You can't equip it. I don't think it would do. I'm pretty sure it would just be undead. And you're still undead. Wouldn't change anything, I don't think. Not like it has a negative... Oh, I see. It's not like it just kind of reverses things, it's more like it puts that effect on you. But then again, I've never tested it. Who knows? Since you can't equip the bone mail on the Necromancer, it's kind of hard to test. I could turn into a freelancer briefly, equip the undead ability and then equip the bone mail and see, but that, I don't think it will do anything like that.
Necromancer needs sacrifices in order to have its power. Which...
Let's see. Can I actually calculate this? So once I reach level 47, I should have 46. I should have a magic multiplier of 10, which means we should deal 10 times 190 damage, I guess, which is 1,900 plus 50%. From the Venom Rod is like 2,700. That actually doesn't quite work out in my brain. So there's more to the magic formula that I'm just not really aware of, I guess. That was almost the Emperor Palpatine unlimited power style voice. Let's see. Unfortunately, I can't imitate it since I don't think I've ever heard it.
Sorry.
By the way, if I forget, please remind me to equip the Magus hat. Or the Mage hat, because we need the +1 magic power in order to get the full potential from the Evil Mist. Oh, I see. I mean, I know it's from Star Wars, but that's about the extent of what I know. Never actually really seen Star Wars. I've always been more into medieval type things and fantasy things rather than sci-fi and space. So it's never been interesting enough to me to check it out. All those single cigarette encounters. On the bright side, I never get time slipped. Deep down, there's a Western style plot more than any other genre. That's fair. And we gained a level, I think. We're now level 46. I'm gonna equip the Wizard's Hut. Use a cottage to heal up to full. Heal off my allies again, because this is kind of the entire idea why I even wanted to gain just those few more levels. So I would be able to do this. without having to revive them and kill them off one by one. We actually have a lot of HP, so we might be able to squeeze in more attacks than most other characters. Actually, we will be able to squeeze in more attacks than most other characters, but I kinda doubt it will still be enough in the end. Don't do it. I need to heal anyways now. Time to remind me about the Mega Set, indeed, thank you. I already equipped it, just double checking. Need the Venom Rod, Magus Hat, the Gaia Gear, Elemental. Yeah. Wizard Hat it is. Alrighty, so this is Atmos. If you have anything to put him to sleep, that's the one status effect he is susceptible to. Yes, 20,000 HP. Minus 3 actually. And as long as you have one party member dead, he will just slowly drag them towards you. He can sometimes use slow or demi or other stuff on you, but usually he just drags the party members towards him that are dead. If there's no party member dead, what he will do is pretty ridiculous. And I can already give this one up because I accidentally attacked. What he will do instead is suck them in, remove them from combat. Well, actually deal 4,000 damage, that's surprising. And gravity is really bad because that is 3/4 or half my HP gone. So I have less of a chance to survive. So this is 3 attacks so far. We need to be able to get 5 attacks in. And this is where we start getting pelted by comets. I think we can do this. Because he also has a chance to not throw a comet at us. Like he has a 1 in 3 chance to not use comet each time he gets a turn. So he will get about 3 turns right now. Each one is a double turn, so he has a 2 in 3 chance to use comet each time. So for each turn he has a 2 in 3 chance to use comet, and he also has a 1 in 3 chance to do nothing. So I think it's possible. We need to get high enough rolls, however. No, Wallring does not catch comet, otherwise this would be easy. Shout out to Drazy. Windrisalizer. How many Necromancer spells have we learned at this point? 2. Hellwind and the Venom ability. The Evil Mist. So the reason why I'm actually getting into an encounter before I go for this guy is because I want the memory cursor to be here. So it immediately will... I just only have to hold down the A button, so I go as quick as possible, without any delay at all. So yeah, we have learned Hellwind, which is a wind-based spell. 190 power, which is really, really good. On top of that, also can petrify enemies, so it can instantly kill them. And Evil Mist, which we can power up through the Venom Rod. And it also deals poison damage. And can poison enemies if you're not immune to it. And we pretty much lose right there. Also, I forgot to increase my death count. So this is really what we don't want to have happen. Sloga is very, very, very rare for him to cast, and we have a decent chance to even avoid it from hitting in the first place because it's not a particularly accurate move either. So if we get hit by Sloga, that's just really bad luck. And in the end, I guess you could say we just need really good luck in order to be able to defeat them. Funny part, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Welcome to you. Welcome, and well, I'm glad you enjoy your stay. Thank you very much. So 5 casts with best luck, 6 on average. Yes. The thing is, we haven't even gotten 5 turns in yet. We have died before that so far. So, if we can possibly get 5 turns, I might go for this without trying to just kill off my allies one by one. But we'll see, essentially. I might want to change battle speed because I feel like it might be slightly more beneficial to me if we have battle speed 5. I'm not entirely sure about that. Also, I should increase the death counter by 1, because even resetting counts as death. Number 3. So we would need to survive pretty much 2 comets. Or 2 rounds of comets. Ouch, that's a really high roll right there. We don't survive any more of these. Number 4. He would need to skip a few turns, I think. He skipped 1 turn, but the second one he used. Alright. Plus 1 death. So I'm actually gonna try this real quick, because battle speed is weird in how it works sometimes. So maybe battle speed 5 might be better. Battle speed 5 is what Magus generally uses on his runs. And I wonder whether that will be beneficial, because there might just be less of a pause in between. It shouldn't really affect us too much in terms of how many turns we get compared to the enemy. Just bad luck with comet rolls? Yeah, I mean, we need to have good luck with comet rolls. And also decent luck with average damage. Then we can do it. I saw a pretty low roll with Evil Mist last time. We're slightly over the 4,000 mark per cast right now, but only very slightly. Also, our ATP is a lot worse. So maybe the config actually doesn't help us that much. That's pretty brutal rolls right there. Oh, the next one would have to be way higher. I don't think we can roll that high with Evil Mist. And it also looks like we might not get the opportunity. Nope, we don't. Okay. Number 50. It's doable, but it will take a few retries. This is also one of those, as I said, optional challenges. Where we take out Atmos without reviving our allies. Transporter, thank you for the 50 bits. I really appreciate those. 50 happy rabbits. And I'm glad you enjoy it here. That's really nice. I might set it back to the previous A to B because it feels like I got the turn or a lot later. Ooh, that is minus 100 and 266, I think. And that is... Now we are about minus 300 on the average roll that we need. So we need way higher than that. Yeah. We would need 6 spell casts, so this is incredibly unlikely to happen. On a scale from 1 to 10, how frustrating has this run been? I would say about a 3, maybe. It's really not bad, especially not compared to a dancer. Since we did have other alternatives and tools to use, so it was really not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the previous settings for configuration. Assuming the 10 would probably be... I would guess that Geomancer would be up there. Really hard to tell, I haven't played those yet. Go back to 6. 6 and Pray. Item only? Well, let's see, how could you do an item only thing? I think you would have to either kill Magiza or Galura without an item if you wanted to do an item only thing. And well, without using items instead. So I don't think item only is even possible. At least not in the strictest sense. At least not like Final Fantasy 7, I guess. Since there's not that many items that do a whole lot in combat, unlike, let's say, Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy... I guess 7 probably has grenades, but beyond... I actually don't know how grenades really are created or used. Final Fantasy 10 item only would probably be the most reasonable one from all I know. Unless you define throw kill as an item. Well, I guess that's true to an extent. But even then, you would need to have a samurai unlocked, at least in this game, which would take you quite a while until you get there. Slogan missed, so that's nice. But unfortunately, our rolls are not high enough right now. I will probably go to... I don't know. What is my next threshold? The next threshold for more magic power attack would be level 51. So that would be quite a grind. This is only attack number 4. We would need 2 more right now. The 5th one I can see happening, but the 6th one, I don't think so. Comet can roll a lot lower than this. It just hasn't, really. Oh well. I don't actually want to level the Necromancer much higher, even though this would be a reasonably quick affair to do, I dare to say. Because if I do that, we are not gonna have any real trouble for pretty much the rest of the game in terms of health and anything like that. So it would make it more interesting for the rest of the game to just do this the traditional way of solo characters anyways. And I think I will do that, let's say, in 7 more attempts. So once we reach 60 deaths. Or should I just go for the next level threshold? It's only 5 levels. I'll be walking left and right for a while, but it's not like I've not done that before. The time on the... not today, no. This is the total time that has taken so far. Today has been about a bit less than 4 hours. Double turn with Comet and even 2 really high rolls. We're not gonna survive this unless he decides to do like 1 Comet at really low damage. Nope, that's not gonna happen. He could technically not take his turns at all, but it's just unlikely. Very unlikely. One interesting thing I feel like is we always seem to get into the same encounter, even if it doesn't always play out the same way from the save point. And again, the reason why I use Evil Mist in an encounter before the boss is so I can just hold down the A button. And that will hopefully give me a little bit more time in order to actually win this in the end. But it doesn't currently look like it does. At least not too much. So maybe I just go and do the normal thing. The Necromancer is crazy strong. But even with the untapped potential, we would need to level probably 5 more levels. Should I do it? I'm really contemplating doing that. For other characters it would be like 20 more levels, but it's just 5 for us right now with a really easy way to grind efficiently. Maybe I should just do it. Would take like 20 minutes, half an hour maybe. Oh, the rolls are incredible high. Holy cow. We've really not got lucky in those so far. Also, if I level just 5 more levels, I would have more maximum HP, increasing the likelihood of us surviving too. Alright, let's grind. Let's grind. I think that's okay. Means I need to go ahead and equip the gold hairpin again, so we only use half the magic. So at this point, level 51 is the goal. At level 51 we will be able to most likely anyways, defeat the guy with just evil mists. Right now we need to get both incredibly lucky to get a 5th hit in, but also need to be seemingly really lucky to get the upper end of our evil mist spell casts in terms of damage too. Both of those problems should be a lot simpler once we reach the next level threshold. And really, it's just 5 levels. Reasonably quickly, things we have a really quick way to grind to. Other characters really don't have it that easy at all. So might as well take advantage of the power. I think in the replay where we start with all the Necromancer abilities unlocked, I will probably just do the other method, so we don't level up too high. So we can stay reasonably low level. Could be interesting. Actually, we might be able to use other strategies anyways, since we do have access to more status effects. I don't really know how Curse works for the Necromancer though. Maybe eventually we'll get even the Wall Ring in the process. From those Wall Knights here. Or Reflect Knights they are called in the Game Boy Advance version, I guess. Hey, there is one. Nice. It's a 1 in 16 chance for each one of them to drop one. It is really smooth sailing since we have acquired those our dark arts as a Necromancer. But I just feel like it's so close to defeating Atmos without having to do or rely on the secondary strategy. I really just feel like I want to do that. The unfortunate part is that in the next area, just after this, there's already a lot better encounters for experience that we would probably be able to one-shot to. And then the area after that is even better. So... bit unfortunate, but hey. That was weird music. Is it just me, or is there suddenly a sound channel missing? Thank you, Fuck. I appreciate that. The noise channel just died last fight. Yep, that sounds about right. That was weird. So let's see, once we reach the next level, what is our level right now anyways? Once we reach level... $47. From 47, which is about 490,000 experience, we need another total of we need like 190,000 experience in order to reach level 51, which should be reasonably doable. Not gonna be the fastest, but reasonably fast. You guys should really attack the others. Whoa. It's a 1 in 4 chance for the silence to proc. Kind of silly. We gain 1 level, alrighty. About 190,000 experience left. Which this is the best encounter for experience, where we gain 3,000. I would say we gain about 2,000 experience on average, I would guess. So that is about 95 encounters total. Until we are there. Sounds reasonable. This is kind of where I wish I had my one-handed controllers with me, because then I could just do that with one hand. Let's see, we have currently how many deaths? 55, so that is plus however many that is for Atmos, plus 6, is 9. Alrighty. Updating the spreadsheet on the side here too. Well, let's actually take a quick look into the future as to where we might want to do certain strategies against enemies. So at this point I have marked that we... Why are you up there? This is less than ideal. Let me put you back. At this point we have about... More MP? Alright, plenty. The crystals left. So, the crystals are actually going to be somewhat interesting, because we have wind and poison elements. They are completely immune against poison, and one of the crystals absorbs wind. So the big problem about the crystals is they counterattack you once they fall below 3000 HP, starting with 7777. And the problem with the wind crystal will be that they also physically attack. So we cannot sustain that combat forever, unless we somehow keep the fire crystal alive and equip the flame ring. So that will be pretty much the goal on how we want to handle that combat. Not entirely sure how to deal with the wind crystal yet. We probably can just knock it down with the dancing dagger or something like that. But yeah, that's the current plan. If I had fire rods to break, that would actually be kind of a creative solution, I guess. Next we have Gilgamesh. He's going to be mostly annoying rather than anything particularly dangerous. And then we have the big bad guy, Exdeath, at the end of Worlds 2. It does inflict poison, Transporter. Or it can anyways. But yes, it does inflict poison. Unfortunately nothing else. Alright, we have Exdeath here. He has 32,768 HP. Exdeath actually switches to phase 2 once he drops below 16,000 HP. Normally for Solar Cactus, the goal is to push him into phase 2 as quick as possible, in order to just sit in the back row, heal repeatedly, and use the wall ring for him to reflect off his own spells back at him until he eventually kills himself. But this is not an option for the Necromancer because we can't heal. So we will have to do this somehow differently. And the strategy I currently think of is Phase 1 is dangerous of Exdeath, but really Phase 2 is just as dangerous if we use either a wall ring or not. And the alternative strategy I'm currently thinking of is I might want to use a flame ring instead, because in his second phase he casts the highest level of the basic elemental spells, fire, ice and lightning. Ice would get negated by the flame ring, just nullified. Fire we would absorb for healing instead. Which would be really nice. And hey Lamborghini, you're welcome, I hope you're doing well. So essentially half of the spells he does are gonna be negated, the other half is gonna heal us. That's nice, getting the flame ring, add another reflect ring, that's actually a lot of money. Although we don't really need much anymore. We have pretty much everything we need. Really? Another one? We just gained 2 reflect rings in succession. It's a 1 in 16 chance to drop from those wall knights. Either way, yeah. Our best shot is trying to kill him as quick as possible, obviously. But also our best shot will be trying to minimize the chance of how he kills us. And the physical attacks are going to be most likely the biggest culprit of us dying in the long run, because Exdeath's vacuum waves deal a crazy amount of damage, and we just need to somehow be able to avoid those 1 in 3 times with the Elven Cape. However, Elven Cape is 1 in 3. Which is nice. But it would probably be more pragmatic to just entirely negate one of the attacks he does and heal off of another one he does. But that's only until phase 2, so I'm not sure whether we should use a flame ring or an elf cape. Not sure. We probably will want to experiment a little bit. Oh well, aside from that, the subsequent bosses, Merigine, Antlion, Gargoyles, I don't see much trouble with. I'm not sure whether we want to even go for the extra content. We could get a Wonder Rod, so we might want to get past Stalker, which I don't see much of a problem. Omniscient is actually weak to wind, which we do have access to, and it would get absolutely demolished, which would be interesting. Leviathan and the Trio, Bahamut. By the way, at the beginning of World 3 we get another Dark Arts, and that one will finally be able to basically be our healing method, since we will gain the ability to heal through Drain effect or spell. Actually, I was just thinking right now, what about Exdeath? So we know that we don't take any additional damage from fire, but what about taking additional damage from... Holy? We are undead, so... Does that mean we take more damage from Holy? Because that would be a huge problem against both Necrophobia and also Neo Exdeath in the end. Oh. For Omega and Shinryu, by the way, I don't see a way for us to defeat them. I don't think. We would eventually get... No, we actually don't have a lightning-based attack. Do we? No, the blue ones are the ones we get in World 3. Drain, non-elemental damage, more non-elemental damage. Yeah, I don't see how to do that. Well, probably the super bosses are out for a Necromancer, I would guess. Panda is weak to fire. By that point we will have something fire, because we go ahead and grab one of our dark arts from the Phoenix Tower. Apocalypse is weak to poison, which we are using poison right now. He will die. Catastrophe. Right. Catastrophe is... Well, he actually can be poisoned, so he will die really quickly too. Alicarnasso. Really any boss that is gonna be dying rather quickly, we won't have much trouble with. Quintania might be interesting, because we do have a way to petrify, but not reliably. That's that. I'm gonna use another college real quick. Necrophobia, the big problem will be getting past the barriers. If we take double damage from Holy, actually, that is likely not gonna be a problem at all, now that I think about it. The reason why is because I think we can destroy the barriers before they can cast spells, so... Yeah, never mind. This is fine. Properly. And Exdeath? Well, Exdeath might be the one boss who has too much damage output for us to survive for particularly long. With being able to only heal about 1500, I would guess, with the magic power that we will have with the Drain spell. So it might end up being rather spooky. I think I do want to go for the Wonder Rod, so I can actually at least have one use of Shell on 3 Exdeath, which would give me a higher chance of resisting White Hole in the first phase. Which would be really great. So yeah, we do want to get the Wonder Rod. Just for that one use of Shell. Aside from that, we don't actually have any form of single target damage. No, we do with Meltdown. Random question, is it possible to break the 9999 damage barrier in this game? No. In this game it's not possible. Well, it's technically possible by using a multi-hit attack that does more, but individual hits cannot go higher than that. So yeah, not really, unfortunately. Also, let's actually look at the final set of Dark Arts that we will gain in World 2. I actually have just kind of only briefly scraped by them. So, one of the first Dark Arts we will gain in World 2 is Drain Touch. Drain Touch is essentially like Drain, but a bit stronger. We will get this from the Damned in the Pyramid as soon as we get there. Then afterwards, which basically is going to be our first actual option of healing. I heard that Drain Touch even works on undead creatures, which is gonna be interesting if we want to try that out. Then we also have Dark Haze, which is essentially fire element damage. No, wait, that's a Zephyr. This is non-elemental damage with the same power as the Poison Rod. Non-elemental is actually bad because we can't boost it with a weapon or anything like that. But it causes confusion and ult. So from what I've heard, if the enemy is immune against either confusion or ult status, it will not work at all against that enemy. So it is actually going to be less than ideal, because that it has both status effects. and will likely be not seeing any use outside of maybe random encounters. Then the last ability we get is Dark Flare, which is, like Flare, pierces magic defense and is actually slightly stronger, but because we cannot boost it with a elemental rod or something like that, it probably won't see much use. And then we also have Meltdown in the middle, from Liquid Flame in the Phoenix Tower, which will deal fire damage and causes HP leak, so no really interesting status effect from that either. But we will have single target fire damage, not even multi-target. You just beat the 5th channel plus the Hunter's Path for the first time. Nice. Congratulations, Squadlight. That's really awesome. And that's also quite difficult, I have to say. So, the dark arts that we miss out on, which I apologize for the format, but I didn't create it with in mind of putting it on stream necessarily, I guess. Deep Freeze is an ice elemental attack, kind of like what we have with Poison and Wind right now. Hits all enemies and just deals ice damage, and also can inflict Stop, which there's actually a surprising amount of enemies and even bosses that are susceptible to getting stopped, so Deep Freeze on the secondary playthrough would be really great. The unfortunate thing is we need to be able to defeat assassins or dark elementals in the Sealed Temple in order to be able to even get that, which that's so far out of the way, we are not gonna get that really. Chaos Drive we would learn from the Mini Satana, also in the Sealed Temple. And Chaos Drive is lightning elemental, pretty much what we have right now, just lightning, and can paralyze enemies. And again, a surprising amount of enemies are actually susceptible to paralyzation, so this would be another really good one to just use on regular basis. Plus, we would be potentially able to deal with Omega with this. Next, there is also Curse. Let's actually go for Doomsday first, from Hades. Hades, once again Sealed Temple. Doomsday is non-elemental damage. Oops, I accidentally clicked down here. It's non-elemental damage, but with a base power of 254. So, let me explain this real quick. We have items that improve the power of, let's say, here. Poison elemental attack by 50%, which effectively means that instead of attacking with a power of 190, we attack with a power of 285. And unfortunately that non-elemental damage for 254 is not gonna be useful unless the enemy absorbs literally all elements. So Doomsday will probably never see any play, plus I believe it actually costs even more mana than all the other spells too. And then, last but maybe not least, we would have Curse. Now, I've seen enemies use Curse against me when I did the Sealed Temple, and I did not really understand what it did. But what Curse does is this one here. It deals no damage, but it causes Toad, Mini, Poison, Darkness, All, Sleeps, Confuse, Berserk, Silence, HP leak, and it always hits. So this is actually pretty much the ultimate status effect move, and it always hits. Now the thing is, I know that I was immune against various parts of that status effect, but other parts still hit me when I got hit by it. So I assume, unlike other status moves that inflict multiple statuses at the same time, this one will actually still affect enemies that have other immunities. Which means our second playthrough would probably mean we curse the boss and then we just destroy them. Or we just destroy them straight up. Either way, it's gonna be really interesting. This is kind of... Curse is pretty much the main reason why I decided let's just do a second run through this with all the powers unlocked, because we are never going to see this in this playthrough. since we can't get into Seal Temple until after defeating Neo Exdeath, and that is pretty much the end of the challenge. Yeah, there's that. In the meantime, over here we have reached level 49, so it's only 2 more levels. It looks like those cigarette geigers have a chance to do nothing on their first turn, which is kind of convenient. Let's see how much more experience we need right now. 16,000 for one more level, and then probably another 35,000 for the subsequent level. So we're basically almost there. For the monk, once we reach that one, I will definitely want to have the formula in the document for calculating damage. That way we can see how much damage we will deal based on the number of factors like our strength, our level, and also the enemy's defense, on how much damage we can potentially deal with the fists on high and low rolls. That may give us an indication as to whether we might be able to do certain feats more reasonably by gaining 1 or 2 more levels. The monk is kind of the only class that gains a little bit of attack power every single level in Final Fantasy V. Everything else is just you gain levels as soon as you reach the next threshold, or you gain damage, excuse me, as soon as you reach the next threshold. It kind of feels like we do reliably above 4,000 now against the regular enemies, but Atmos does have more magic defense. At this point I would say we are kind of walking on a pile of corpses. You know what would be an interesting twist on an RPG? Where the ground and environment on which you defeat enemies would gradually change. The more enemies you defeat on certain grounds and tiles and areas, the more it would just kind of have the traces and trails of what has happened, since you would just kind of be eventually walking on corpses of enemies left and right, keep walking left and right to encounter more enemies. Just kind of to have a bit of a visual indication how much you would have grinded in each place. Would be interesting. Maybe a bit morbid. Dishonored is kind of like that. I'm not sure I understand. That's a... I think I know Dishonored. I've never played it myself. But in which way is it like that, if I may ask? Or are you by chance not talking about Dishonored, that 3D stealth, rogue, assassinate, revenge game thing with special powers and stuff? Actually pretty awesome how it seems to play. We have one more use of this ability, and we have to go back and use a cottage. I guess there is just continuous missions like that. The more you kill in the game, the more dilapidated and diseased the city gets. Oh, really? Huh. I was not aware. That's interesting. All three of those gave us their rare drop. That's 1 in 16 to the power of 3. Gaia Gear, Reflect Ring and High Potion. That's very unlikely to happen. I see. I guess the way I would play Dishonored, I would never actually know this. Sandwich! Aw. I gave somebody my half of the sandwich. Now I'm still hungry. Boom boom. I'm mostly fascinated right now by how much maximum HP the Necromancer has. It's so much. It's almost as much as the Chemist has after doubling his HP. It's kind of crazy, actually. The first experience with Final Fantasy games was 4 years ago. Five, 6, and 9, all in the span of 3 months. That's awesome, actually. I hope you enjoyed that journey. Usually it's a lot more interesting with friends too. If you are interested in Final Fantasy 5 once in a while, I recommend you check out the Forge of Fiesta if you don't yet know about it. If you do know about it, that's kind of... it's a really nice way to just play through this game again and have a good reason to challenge yourself a little bit. Or a little bit more, depending on what you get. Maybe it's just me, but I just like this game, I guess. Yeah, we are level 50 probably, yeah. 20,000 more and we should reach our next threshold of damage output, which is pretty much all I'm working towards right now. If I may ask, which one of the games did you like the most? Because story-wise, I feel like Final Fantasy 6 and 9 are really difficult to beat. Oh, I just realized I forgot to activate the announcement thing. There we go. Probably 9 story-wise, 5 gameplay-wise, and 6 just because we had the PS1 combo disc with 5 and 6 together. Oh, I see, you played the PlayStation version. Nice. The only real downside of the PlayStation versions is the load times. But I always feel like people like to exaggerate that a bunch. It is noticeable, but it's not really a big deal. But yeah, gameplay-wise, I actually did not like Final Fantasy 9 particularly much when I recently played through it. That's not entirely true. I just felt like it was kinda lacking in terms of responsiveness compared to other games that I've played. But the story was just fascinating. And the music was, in my opinion, the best of the bunch you mentioned. Like, I always thought that my favorite music is probably from Final Fantasy VI in the Final Fantasy series. And I played 9, and that music is just amazing. It probably has a lot to do, for me anyways, with how well it was integrated into the story and cutscene aspects on top of the entire, I guess, scene. Most of the pieces of music we're playing in. It was great for Triple Triad. I've never actually played 8. Well, not entirely true. When I was a kid, at some point we had a demo disc where 8 was there for PC, and I liked the game. I would have loved to play it at the time, but nowadays I don't feel like I have particularly much interest in playing through that one, interestingly enough. So we had reached level 51. Now I need to real quick get rid of my... well, not get rid of my friends, but make sure they're asleep, safe and sound. Or something like that. And now we will try to defeat Atmos again. Time sync with very intrusive cutscenes. I can see that. One of the things I really don't like in games is when the enemies just scale with you. Because that just doesn't seem right to me personally. And I think that's one of the things Final Fantasy VIII ends up doing. There's other ways of you powering up, but it just seems weird. Did you beat bombs without breaking rods? Oh, hi, welcome back, Crossbar. Yes, actually, we did manage to somehow do that. Which was very surprising to me, but keeping track of the individual HP of all enemies ended up working out in our favor that way. Alright, let me check something real quick. Alrighty. So... Oh, I forgot to do that, didn't I? Yes, I did. We need the Wizard's Hat in order to reach the next threshold of multiplier, or magic power multiplier. So, we tried this earlier with 5 levels less. Just kind of to introduce you to the boss again, since it's been a while since we've been here. This is Atmos. Atmos does not much aside from dragging the corpses of your fallen allies into his mouth and devours them if they are dead. If no character is dead on the screen anymore, meaning everybody devoured or everybody alive, and or, the only thing he will end up doing is spam Comet. He is insanely fast. He goes about 2 to 3 times for me going once. He has 20,000 health, and he can use Comet twice for one of his turns. So he can actually use up to 6 Comets before I get to act again. Ooh, those are really good numbers now. So what this means is that, essentially, I need to get 5 attacks in for him having 20,000 health before he kills me. Wormhole, I have 3 attacks in right now, and he will now be able to use Comet. Comet does anywhere between 200 and 1,500 damage. So 768 is just slightly above average. Let's see. He also has a chance to do nothing on each individual turn, which he just skipped his entire turn. This one can still hit us pretty hard. Alright. And we might have actually done it. Huh. Nice. But 5 levels can make a difference. So, here's a bit of a frame of reference. Most character or solo job classes cannot do this straight up. And what they would have to do is would have to invest like 5, 10, sometimes even 20 hours of grinding to reach high enough a level to defeat him straight up. So alternatively, instead of doing that with other chops, I will be killing off my allies one by one by one by one instead of doing this straight up like this. But if it's close enough, or if we can get lucky enough, without it being unreasonably unlikely, I will be doing it this way as an optional challenge. So that was nice. That was really nice. The only quote-unquote downside is that we are now a lot stronger than before, which means it's gonna be even easier than it was already. Which is, I guess, a quote-unquote downside. Now I wish I had more fire rods, by the way. Bye, Ziza. Final Fantasy V is not the strongest story-wise, but I feel like it does have its moments. Like Vatch just straight up knocking out Galuf so he doesn't run down the tower and kills himself. He jumps off the tower in order to land on the hero as well. Final Fantasy V is the best in mechanics. Well, the best of the ones I have really played. I feel like I would probably enjoy the battle system of Final Fantasy X more. And I have no idea about other Final Fantasies. The death of SNES. Mechanics-wise, yes, I absolutely agree. Like, 6 is definitely not bad. But what I especially like about Final Fantasy V is how powerful status effects are. I'm a huge fan of applying status effects and using them to my advantage, and this game offers that. You're in the middle of 10. Nice. How do you like it, if I may ask? I know the story of 10, but I've only ever played like a third through myself. That was like 20 years ago? Something like that. 7 out of 10? Sounds fair. Final Fantasy X story is a bit on the strange side to me. Like, I really enjoy the theme overall. But it's also kinda difficult to not get annoyed by it at certain points. But simultaneously, even at those points, if you think about it for a while, it makes a lot of sense. It's just in character, and it makes a lot of sense in the world. Huh? What is this? I've never seen this before. I guess there's nothing there because I can't go down there. Guess that's the undersea trench. I've never gone to the right side, because normally go around the left side in order to go to Guido's cave, but I have a little bit of a business plan here, where I want to do something else real quick. So, normally we are supposed to go to Guido's cave now, because we can actually not enter the Forest of Moor yet. But before that, I want to briefly go over here, into the weapon shop, because here in the weapon shop there is a weapon that we want, and this is the air knife. Or the air lancet if you use the other translation. So the air knife is pretty strong inherently, and like the poison rod, it increases the elemental damage of one of our elements. That element is... we can't use diamond plate. That's unfortunate. That element that we will power up is wind with the air knife, as you might be able to tell. Get the gold hairpin back, so stuff costs less MP now. And wind is really, really, really good, because pretty much no enemy resists it. And even though there's some enemies that would be weak to poison, wind is even more good in this case, because Hellwind has a chance to petrify enemies, to essentially, even if we wouldn't kill them in one hit, we would still kill them in one hit, because petrification is essentially instant death to them. So that's gonna be interesting. The voice acting is next level cringy. I guess that's a matter of taste. I personally actually like the voice acting for the most part in 10 from what I've heard, which it might be because I've only really played it myself when I was like 14 or so, and not for that long. So yeah. Oh, I guess that would make it rather awkward to implement a lot of those scenes then, guys said. That's true. That makes actually a lot of sense. Which unfortunately doesn't really change that they can be perceived as not being particularly pleasant, to say the least. Well, I mean, that's the kind of the famous example, Tenesper. Which again, that it makes sense within the world if you think about it. Even though it's just kind of the concept of it's really why does that even happen type of deal. And you would like to have it stop right away, please stop that. At least for me personally. But it makes sense within the world. Alrighty, so the reason why I went actually out of my way before going here. So normally there's not a whole lot to do in this area here at all, very much. And there still isn't much more to do with the Necromancer. I could have just run through here like I usually do, and ignore all the enemies by running away, because they are not difficult to run away from here. But interestingly enough, those metamorph enemies are actually weak to wind. And they have so much HP they would not die to a regular unpowered up wind attack. But they will die to a powered up wind attack. Actually, they might have died to an unpowered wind attack. Either way, now they guaranteed will. And I'm actually curious whether it would be worthwhile to grind here for a while. You are the wrong enemies, go away. Hellwind. Let's see. Yeah, that will one-shot him. 20 experience? Oh, never mind. I thought it would be at least like 2000 experience. Never mind. But the only other thing those metamorph enemies are worth is when you kill them in their human form, they have a 1 in 16 chance to drop a light staff. We can't equip staves, so that's pretty much irrelevant. But if you can equip staves, those will allow you to break them for an unleashed holy element. And that's really crazy good. So, alrighty. Detour for the wind dagger, completely pointless. Firing off 8,800 damage area of effect attacks. Nice shot, this Necromancer. Yep. To be fair, he is weak to wind. When an enemy is weak to a certain element, you ignore his defense entirely. He takes double damage on top of it. So, kind of like a double-edged sword, because certain enemies would naturally have a lot of defense despite having a weakness, but defense would just get ignored. Hey, a turtle! Let's poke it! Actually really enjoy that. In this, I think that's probably the best thing about this dungeon here. There's still the undersea music playing from when you travel with the submarine. I feel like in a lot of games, in a lot of places, the overworld music is nice, at least RPGs, but you don't really get to hear it because it just gets interrupted by combat all the time. Unless you were to literally just stop and listen to it for a while. Now, if only we were a time mage, we could just teleport outside now with exit. But we're not. We're a necromancer. Oh, I actually forgot to equip the luminous robe. Let's see real quick whether that luminous robe is better than what we have. Luminous robe gives us actually, wait, what? It does give plus magic power too? Really? I was not aware it gives magic power until now. Huh. It also has 19 magic evasion, so the same as Gaia gear. And it's kind of strictly better than what we have. I did not realize it gave my magic power. Oh, learned something new. Which means, if I want to figure out what our next threshold is for magic power, I would have to recalculate it. Let me do this real quick, actually. Just because I'm curious. We are now level 51. With 58 magic power. Which means... Yep. That's interesting. Alrighty, wait, no, we have 67 magic power, right? Yeah, 57. Either way, if we go for 58, we only need 2 more levels in order to gain another magic power up. If we equip the hat, that is. Didn't one of the hats have the additional benefit of giving us more magic power from Mua? I don't remember. Let's see. I'm gonna check the item or shop again, because while I will pretty much never exchange the gold hairpin for anything in regular areas, It might just be relevant enough to pick it up for defeating Exdeath in World 1, since it's really a gigantic race. Can I deplete his HP before he can deplete mine? And that might be the biggest deal about it. Hey Wolf, welcome, how are you doing? Greetings to you. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. I did not buy the Sage's Mither because I figured, I'm not gonna use magic powers equipment. I might. Oh yeah, this is +2. So we could go all the way up to 59 magic power if we really wanted to. Which means at level 51... it's still level 53, we still need 2 levels in order to reach the next magic power threshold. Alrighty. You doing good? That sounds nice. How are the dark arts now that we have a couple of them? Well, let's put it this way. They absolutely demolish everything. So they are insanely powerful. So those Deshire enemies, or however you pronounce that, I have no idea what kind of weakness they have. They are not weak against wind, and we deal 4,500 damage to all of them. I'm pretty sure they have not nearly as much HP. Do I have a favorite job or jobs? Probably the Blue Mage. Because it's just crazy what you can do with a Blue Mage if you know how to use the class. And it allows you for some of the more obscure strategies. Boom. That's a lot of experience for not a whole lot of effort, I dare to say. There's a bunch of treasure chests in here, but I mostly would pick them up for money. And I don't really need money. I'm just gonna ignore them. I will pick up this one for the ether. That's about it. Yes, it's really crazy how strong Hellwind is. And really, Poison Mist or Evil Mist is not much weaker. Actually, it's the same power level, let's put it that way. Except it's poison element, and it's easier to use wind because less enemies are immune or absorb wind. The back attacks though. Ow. By the way, if those guys land Osmos, it's actually good for me because they will give me their MP instead, since I'm undead. And it reverses the effect. I wouldn't mind if they hit me. Ow. Will I keep the Assassin Dagger or Mammoth Rod? Or the Magus Rod once you get to the Rift? I mean, sure, why not? There's not really much of a reason not to use them. Magus Rod will just make it simpler that I don't have to switch weapons anymore for the different elements. So there's that. I said I wouldn't go for the chest, but now I'm here anyways. Good evening to you. Green Fireballs, welcome. Hope you're doing well. But we're just fighting stuff along the way now, because might as well. It's not much slower than running away. Actually might about be the same speed, since this is kind of where it starts being a bit tricky to run away from encounters. So yeah, my favorite class is probably Blue Mage, mainly because I like having a class who is very versatile, but also has a very unique tool set. And Blue Mage pretty much fits both of those bills, because you can run enemies out of magic in short order. Confusion is really bad, because we lose our turn, essentially. Not like having an actual bone mail equipped to be undead. Our poor little Necromancer does not gain any resistance to confusion. They might actually be resistance against wind. Nope, they're not. You know, some enemies are supposed to be somewhat strong-ish, but I don't really feel that right now. Because once you have your dark arts, and once you can power them up, there's not really a whole lot that is gonna stand up against you anymore. The only downside right now is that we are relatively slow, and so some enemies get attacks in before we get our attacks off. And yeah, I mean, that's true, Zero Lancer. Blue Mage is not the best class offensively, but just the fact that it also has decent offense in certain areas and aspects kind of makes it even more intriguing to me. Like, it's not just a jack of all trades, but that's kind of what it mainly is. I'm gonna go and be lazy here and just use an elixir to heal up to full.
The food box begins to shake, rattle and roll. Watch out! It's a rhyme or lunch!
I like Grimers. They look so happy. So, in this section here, the Game Boy Advance lags like crazy. Like, it's insanely how slow you are. So what you actually want to do, you want to open up the menu, because you need to just wait a certain amount of time until the in-game timer passes far enough and the Moogle helps you escape here. The interesting thing is, when I have the menu open, that in-game timer runs slightly faster. And the in-game timer does not run while I interact with the fire, by the way. At least not on the SNES version. Yes, actually, we have done a Blue Mage run. We have done Dragoon, Blue Mage, Chemist, Dancer, White Mage. And now we are on Necromancer. Did I miss one? Second favorite class, the favorite 4-class party. 4-class party? Oh, I like certain combinations of characters. Like, let's see. I like putting bows on berserkers. That's fun. It's actually the only thing I can think of immediately right now. Could you please let me get up there? So this little guy is actually supposed to be walking around right now, but he just doesn't walk. I don't know why he does that sometimes. There we go. Thank you. So, if I picked up this shield here, before the fire consumed the forest, it would have been a Aegis shield. But because I only picked it right now, it's a flame shield, which is worth a lot more money. Can X-Fight bow proc on circus? Yes, actually. So, oddly enough, I actually really like berserkers in my team. Even though they are kinda not really good, to be honest. But I just kind of like the additional challenge of managing them. What is the 55 for? Did I? Oh, I think I know what I did, didn't I? Yes, I did. Must have removed the deaths indication by accident. Oops, I did not mean to overwrite that, nope. Alrighty, next boss is 4 little crystals. Initially, the 4 little crystals do nothing but attack physically, which is not terribly threatening. Actually, it is kind of threatening, because we only have so much health as a Necromancer. But the special thing about the crystals is each one is attuned to a separate element, and all of those have 7,777 HP. Once they drop below 3,000 HP, they will go into a frenzy and start casting their magic like crazy. And that magic is really powerful and hurts a lot. And the thing is, we have two crazy powerful spells. One is attuned to wind and one is attuned to poison. All of the crystals are immune against poison. One crystal is immune, absorbs actually wind. So this is a mild problem because we don't have a good way of dealing with that guy. So I need to figure out how to do this, I guess. So my current thought is I'm gonna use a flame ring. One of the crystals is attuned to fire, and I want to put him into critical HP in order for it to... Yeah, I want to put it into critical HP in order for it to... start healing us, because all I ever do is use the crazy spells at that point. So, they will eventually whittle us down with their physical attacks, they are not without danger. So, now, the top, the bottom, the right one will get hit by Hellwind for a lot of damage. Right now I'm contemplating how I want to do this. So I think I actually don't want to use the air knife right now. I want to use the Magosh, just so we have more evasion against physical attacks. Let's use Hellwind once and see what happens. So this is 2790 damage on those guys. If I do this again, that's about a bit above 5000 damage. Also, if I use the air knife, that is about 4000 damage-ish. So I actually wanted to use the air knife twice, now thinking about it. Now it's gonna get a little bit more complicated. Alright, what I want to do is the air knife now. Wait. I feel like I want to reset real quick, because this is gonna get really awkward. I'm going to use the elixir on this guy. I want him to have full HP. Because that is the fire crystal, I don't want it to die. With 2 more Hellwinds, the bottom 2 crystals will die. But with 2 more Hellwinds, the top crystal would also die, which I don't want. 1 more Hellwind will push the bottom ones not quite across the threshold. Nope, they do. Alright, they start using their crazy attacks now. Which is only 500 for Aqua Breath and Earthshaker, so it's really not too bad, all things considered. It's really mild, I would say. But they go fast enough that they get 2 turns before me getting 1 turn. I'm getting really low here. So the top crystal now... oh, is dead too. No, I needed to unequip the knife. I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy. Well, now I'm dead, pretty much. Because I can't heal myself. And I cannot really attack this guy. Well, this is a dancing knife. 50% of the time, instead of attacking normally, I will use the dance command. Which means that is 1 of 4 different moves. Jitterbug Do It, which absorbs HP from the enemy and gives it to me based on magic power. Same for Mystery Waltz, but for MP. Then we also have the Sword Dance, which deals 4 times attack power. Which is usually what you want in most circumstances. In this case I was hoping for Jitterbug Do It. But even that would not have saved me, actually. So alrighty, now that I know the damage numbers, I have a better plan on how to handle this. So 2 times using the air knife Hellwind will actually... Oh, that's even missed instead. Whoopsie. Thank you for the MP. 2 times using the Hellwind Two times will kill the crystals with Hellwind, actually completely skipping their frenzied phase, because they have just under 8000 HP and we did just deal about 4000 damage per Hellwind. So all I need to do is actually heal the fire crystal for about 1000 or 500 HP in order to kill it, do this. Yeah, actually this seems simple enough, all things considered. I did not think of this before. Oh well. Oh, yeah, I remember now why I didn't think of this before, because I didn't use the air knife in the first place, or in the first attack. Yeah. Essentially what I want to do is I want to kill the bottom 2 crystals, the bottom right and, well, the right one and the bottom one, so they will stop attacking me physically. And I want to put the top crystal into less than 3000 HP range, which will make him start using his Fire 3 move. And Fire 3 will allow me to get healed essentially in this combat. So one of the specialties of the Necromancers is that you're undead, which is not the greatest, because you can't heal yourself in combat through normal means, which is pretty much the biggest difficulty of the class. Aside from that, you have a ridiculously high vitality stat. As a spellcaster, your magic stat is pretty high anyways. The strength stat is surprisingly above average. There we go. But you do actually not get the same benefits as a bone mail. We are not absorbing poison as HP or anything like that. Alright. Just moving into the front row now and starting to attack the crystal in the back. The crystal in the back is the wind crystal, which by the way is the fastest one of the bunch. Which means the biggest problem about the wind crystal is going to be that it might get 2 turns or 1 Firaga turn off the top crystal. No, frogs are friends, not food. Tempting Tango, by the way, would confuse an enemy if he was susceptible to getting confused. Which they are not. Speaking of which, I will need to go and grab float real quick. Do I really need to? Nah, I think we are strong enough that we don't need float. By the way, it's completely random which dance gets picked, or whether we are even dancing in the first place, so not much I can do about that, aside from hope that we get good attacks in. I could have picked up the Ori Halcon dagger instead, which has less attack power than the dancing dagger, but is on average more reliable, I guess. Alrighty, the wind crystal is now below 3000 HP. Also, it only deals about half as much damage as the fire crystal, it looks like. Not entirely sure what's up with that. But I'm okay with it, because that means we survive more than 2 winds in a row. And the biggest danger is usually that you don't have enough maximum HP to survive 2 wind attacks in a row without getting healed in between. So this is not a problem right now for the Necromancer, so we should win rather easily. So this fire ring came in handy incredibly frequently already. For my standards anyways. I don't usually use the firing particularly much. There's the double turn. But we get healed back up to full. Almost full. I think one more attack would do the trick. If we ever get one more attack, that is. On the bright side, I actually recovered my MP just now with the Mystery Waltz. One of the few times that is actually somewhat useful-ish, I guess. There we go. Alrighty, and we win at this point. I could just use another Hellwind, or I could choose to hold down the attack button and win this way. Because this guy had not a whole lot of HP left. We'll use the Lamia's Tiara since you are using the Dancing Dagger when you cannot spellcast, since it has the Drain or Osmose effect. I've actually never thought about it that way. That would be interesting. But no, the plan would be just to use the Chicken Knife instead. Because that is just so much more powerful that I think it completely offsets the power of the Dancing Dagger by way too much. Like, I think a regular attack of the Chicken Knife is more damage than a sword dance of the Dancing Dagger. No, Xcodes, actually not. Well, actually, well, not generally, no. That's kind of why I'm mildly confused about this. Yeah. I mean, I have not necessarily strictly been fleeing to make the Chicken Knife the best option, it just happens that a lot of encounters are not really worth dealing with. But yeah, Chicken Knife. Which, by the way, completing the barrier tower is going to be rather interesting as a Necromancer. At least Minotaur. Minotaur is, or the Necromancer is probably the only class who has any trouble dealing with the Minotaur at all. Because you cannot heal. Minotaur is normally really easy to deal with, but in this case, it will be probably quite a major pain, since we cannot cast spells or use dark arts up there either. You need 255 or 256 please for the Chicken Knife. Overmuck. How will we deal with Fork Tower? So, generally speaking, the way we deal with Fork Towers in solo chop class runs is by first we send the solo chop up to Minotaur, defeat the Minotaur, just to prove that we can do it. Then we reset. And then we send the 3 low-level characters up the Minotaur side as a samurai, and just use skill toss until the Minotaur is dead. And then defeat the Omniscient with the spell card, or the class in the end. I should have turned Gallop into Necromancer. This would have made way more sense. Because now this is gonna take a while again. So, you need to deal, I think, 4,500 damage in order to advance the plot here. And we don't really have a good method of doing so. This weapon that I'm using right now has a 1 in 8 chance to proc a wind cutter attack, which deals about 500 damage, so this will take a while. But I'm usually using this opportunity to just kind of get up, stretch, get some more water, and kind of have a short break, so this is also what I will do. But yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. And for me, quick break. Alrighty, I'm back. Looks like I have just arrived or returned as we are about to finish this little cutscene section here. So what I should have done, by the way, I should have given Galuf a wall ring, and this would have sped up this process tremendously. I already did sell the bone meal. And yeah, for anyone who does not know, this is essentially a cutscene battle where Galuf literally cannot lose. And once we deal about 4,500 damage, Exdeath starts talking, and then for each attack we deal, there will be another dialogue box. And eventually Galuf wins, in a sense, but at a high price. Also, the reason why I chose this weapon is it also can critically hit, it has pretty decent attack power, and a 1 in 8 chance to deal a good chunk of damage on top of that. I still really like this scene. As mentioned before, this game doesn't really have a particularly deep or unique story, but it does have its moments. Rest in peace, Galuf. Until next time. And here you have to just wait until Kara decides it's time to go. So after this cutscene, we have our entire party revived and fully healed. And this is where, with solo characters, often I would go ahead and grab a rather useful buff that is called Float. Float would allow me to, well, float above Earth elemental based attacks. The next really big boss, Exdeath, at the end of World 2 here, will cast Quake 2 out of 3 times in one of his turns, and we could completely avoid that if I was floating. However, I think the Necromancer can power through that without too much trouble, even though we can't heal. We need to get lucky in the end anyways, in order to not take too many attacks or too much damage. And even though Float would add a little bit of extra leverage to that, we don't need that much luck since the Necromancer just has so much power behind its attacks. That's what we will do. Alright, do I need anything else? I have a lot of money and not really anything to spend it on. I could buy ethers, but don't really need them. I could buy high potions, don't really need them either. Oh well. The way we would get float, by the way, I guess it's not nearly as bad on Game Boy Advance, so I might just do it. The way we get float... Oh wait, that doesn't help. Is by getting to an encounter with certain birds, and then we need to use the dancing dagger and confuse the enemies. We have a 1 in 8 chance to use Tempting Tango whenever we attack. I'll just do it, whatever. It might just help in the end. We have a 1 in 8 chance to use Tempting Tango instead of doing a regular attack with the dancing dagger. And the plan is to use that with the dancing dagger. Thank you. The plan is to use that with the dancing dagger to... Oh yeah, you need a weapon now. You can inherit your grandfather's wind slash. The birds, once they are confused, have a chance to use float on your party members, but they don't actually have enough MP to cast float, so you will need to give them ethers for those birds to have enough MP to cast float. What's actually kinda mean in that. I get the level. How was that close? Interesting. So, I believe after this next section here inside, there is an encounter possibility with 2 birds in it. And that just increases my chance of getting a dance up before I accidentally kill the birds. Since the birds will die in one physical attack, they don't have much HP. Here's a bird, for example, as well. So I might as well try it here real quick. So for this, we take the dancing dagger, put it up higher into my items, like right around here. Attack with the dancing dagger. Sword dance is not what we are looking for. 1 in 8 chance for sword dance as well. 1 in 8 chance for each one of the dances to appear. 50% of the time we will dance, which means then 1 in 4 times we get the Tempting Tango that we're looking for. So this is the place where we're looking for 2 birds. It might actually be that I have to complete the golem encounter before I even get the 2 birds. Because it could be that this golem encounter here actually overrides the 2 birds encounter until golem has been freed or rescued. No, it's here. This is the encounter one. Those guys. They have pretty high evasion, but daggers actually cut evasion in half. $52. I'm not sure what 52 is, to be honest. Either way, welcome to Carissa. I hope you're doing well. As you can see, we can't get poisoned by those guys. Well, we are not immune against poison despite being undead. Right there. Nope, wrong dance. Wrong dance. I think we've seen now every dance except for Tempting Tango so far. The thing is, even if we confuse them successfully, it's not even guaranteed that it will end up helping, because they could just physically attack themselves and then they are no longer confused because they're dead. Or even use a petrification move on themselves, which they are also no longer confused because they are dead. Unless they miss their own petrification move on themselves, which is not that unlikely, since it is relatively inaccurate. Wow. Normally you want sword dances because it's such good damage, and the dancing dagger is a really good strong weapon at this point in the game. But not right now. I just realized I should equip the elemental again. I could also equip the diamond armlet. Yours best friend. I thought the diamond armlet had more defense than that. Any reason to you ever use a diamond armlet? Been quite fine, Regasin, thank you. Very interesting, since we did end up finally getting some dark arts, because there's finally some enemies that we need to kill as a necromancer to acquire them in the second world. We've actually had decent success, I would say. He tried to use float, but he didn't have enough MP. That's unfortunate. Please try that again. Nope. Oh well. The Necromancer is really powerful. Except for that little lull between the end of the first world and the beginning of the second, where you don't get to use any Hellwind attacks, and the Oath ability is just not cutting it anymore in terms of damage output. So you kind of have to more or less resort to breaking rods unless you want to level up way too much. Jitterbug is really strong, by the way, for Necro. Oh. Well, I guess we are also really high level. Poison, not enough MP. Here, I'm gonna give you MP. Use float, please. Peak is instant death on them because it uses a confusion. It's petrification. And last time I was here for more than half an hour until I finally got float. Yeah, you can't really get anything in the first world, that is accurate, Regasin. The second world we have Hellwind and Poison, or Evil Mist, which is wind and poison element respectively. And those are just absolutely demolishing enemy whenever we use it. Pretty awesome. But also kind of necessary, I would guess, against upcoming Exdeath battle, because we can't heal still in any capacity. I'm gonna run out of antidotes at this rate. Kinda curious that the Bone Dragon in this encounter doesn't get to attack us, even though in the double encounter they do. Also, it does cost us 1/16 our maximum health in damage each time the poison ticks, and that is each step on the overworld. So it is actually really extreme. So you do want an antidote. Alrighty, please don't kill yourself. Good start. Please use float now. Thank you! You get to live. You might be confused, but you get to live. Alright, this is kind of why I was really thinking maybe the Necromancer is strong enough to do this without float. He probably is, but it's just a lot less likely. Thank you for not instantly killing me. This is the one back attack that just can instantly kill literally any character. Well, any solo character anyways. Because they just put you into critical HP with their bone ability, and then they kill you with just a regular attack right after. You've only ever saved the frogs? As in, do you mean that's for real, by the way, Regasin? Oh, that's... oh. Not good. It's a lot of damage. Yeah, it's a Necromancer. You deal a lot of damage. Because I feel like I've lost a lot of reputation seemingly randomly at some point. And I'm not sure whether that's a bug or something. Frogs are friendly food? No, they're not food. Frogs are not food. You cannot recall a time you put a frog in a box. I see. I'll only tell that to Quadlight because I felt like I was way higher in reputation at some point, then suddenly I was all the way back down. Alrighty, and we are entering Exdeath's domain. So the enemies in here are actually quite strong, but they are pretty much no match for the ridiculous power that is Hellwind. I'm gonna ignore pretty much all chests around here because I don't feel like I need them. Those guys are reflect mages. They have natural reflect as an innate ability, but dark art cannot be reflected, so they just die. I'm going to kill most enemies along the way. That's the plan anyways. Because if I just reach the next threshold of magic power by the use of not using the gold pin against Exdeath, I will do that, I think. I'm not sure whether that's even useful. If you could save the frogs and get the ultimate and more frogs are put in the box, you lose reputation? Might be, I guess. I'll need to ask Wildlight whether there's anything like that going on. So, alrighty. The chest up there on the right is an ice shield. Also, by the way, those magic dragons are weak to wind. So they don't just get destroyed by Hellwind, they get absolutely demolished. Wow, really? The Hellraiser revived an ally after it died, but while everything else died simultaneously. I guess the Hellraiser might have died to petrification first, or the others died to petrification afterwards, or something like that. That chest up there is an ice shield, absorbs ice element. Pretty good. I recommend you pick it up. That's so weird. Why does that even happen? I figured we would just one-shot literally all encounters here, but it turns out this encounter here in particular, which gives us so much experience, we don't, because of the weirdness of this Hellraiser thing. I see. Rest well, Primas. Have a good night then. Take care. Thank you for dropping by. Preemptive strike. Those black warlocks have an item that is called the Power Staff, which can cast Berserk if we use it on an enemy. Also, normally that lava here hurts you if you walk on it, but because my only character that is alive is floating, float prevents damage from ground effects or ground tiles. So that's a minor benefit, I guess. That's not the main reason why I picked it up. Those blind wolves, by the way, are literally blind, and doesn't start with the blind effect. It's kinda weird, I don't know why. They're basically not dangerous at all. Those adamantite golems, you can just use a gold needle or a soft on it in order to kill them. The left chest, one of the chests contains a knight sword, the other chest contains a samurai sword. Neither is particularly useful because we have so much money. I don't need them. But double checking real quick, what is the level that I would be looking for? Level 53 in order to gain an additional power set. Hey, thank you for healing, I appreciate that. Level 53 in order to deal more damage with the spells. That's the next threshold. And we are kinda close to 53 at this point, I would guess. So that's that. Ow. Thank you. And we get random ethers. So, in this area here, by the way, there's actually really dangerous encounters. So this chest on the left contains money, a lot of money. You want to pick it up. I'm not gonna to, because there is dragons in here that can demolish me really quick. Specifically the 2 yellow dragon encounters. And I really don't want those. Oh hi. Well, I think they are susceptible to getting petrified. Even if not, we should probably take advantage of a first turn. Though these things can use thunder. Thunder deals 25% of my maximum health and damage. So 4 thunders, or potentially just 2 turns of those guys, will kill me. The chest on the top right contains, I think, money. Then there's a chest that contains a twin lance, which is a really good ninja and thief weapon. The chest on the right contains... I forget what it is. Oh, that's the twin lance. I don't know what the other chest is then. Either way, twin lance is pretty nice. We can't use it because it's a ninja weapon. Opening this chest gives us the opportunity to fight Exdeath, Gilgamesh again. Gilgamesh here he is actually immune against virtually every status effect in the game. And he uses a load of status effects himself, as in he is pretty nasty in this encounter. Not particularly strong, just really annoying. Lilliput and Lyric makes us tiny. Our attack power goes to 3, which is not a whole lot. On top of that, he also will deal full physical damage since we have 0 defense, but if you have a shield, your evasion with the shield is doubled. So either way, tell me, Gilgamesh, you like Hellwinds. He only has 13,000 HP. He's pretty quick though. Flash would blind you. Blind reduces your chance to hit with physical attacks by 3/4. I actually don't know Zero Lancer, it might. Oh god. This might just kill us here. As a matter of fact, we don't have any way to heal at all, aside from using the Dancing Dagger. Oh, and I'm confused. Now my level is halved. Wow. Basically, him hitting Hurricane is a death sentence, pretty much. Because in his second phase, he doesn't deal much damage anymore. Like, all he does is attack for like 20 or 50, but he never misses. So, we are gonna die if that happens. I need to restock my magic again, real quick. So let's just hope he doesn't hit with that. I would appreciate this. Also, I need to update the death counter real quick. Alrighty, let's do this, buddy. I did not mean to use the Evil Mist. Oh well. Ironic that his Genji equipment helps against him. It does. Blind actually does not show up because I'm floating. Kinda weird. No! Alright, what I'm gonna do is die. Alright, what I would have done is use the Dancing Dagger for the 1 in 8 chance to use Jitterbug Duet to absorb HP against him. It's not the greatest, but at least I would have had a chance to survive. Hurricane is really not particularly likely to hit us right now. I just want to point that out. I'm actually curious how likely it is for him to even use Hurricane. Let's see real quick. Gilgamesh. Bridge. Ship. Exdeath Castle. Here we go. Gilgamesh in Exdeath Castle. His first turn, he uses Sonic Wave, Fight, or Tiny Song. So his next turn, he uses Strange Dance, Bite, or Specialty. Dance Hall Days, which will actually put us to sleep. Then his next attack, he uses Specialty, Fight, or Flash. And his third throw, he uses Hurricane 1 in 3 times. Wow, this guy. As I said, he's mostly annoying rather than dangerous, except when you can't heal yourself. I guess he's also fast enough that slower classes like the Necromancer will get lapped, as in he will get 2 turns before I get 1, frequently enough that he might just Hurricane and then immediately hit you. Well, that's just rude, I would say. But it's a 1 in 3 chance for him to use Hurricane. So far, he used it every time, and on top of that, he hit it every time. Which, to be fair, it's in his favor to actually hit it. But simultaneously, we have like a 40% chance to avoid it, I guess, without actually calculating it. Next turn is the potential Hurricane again. Hey Brascley, thank you for the good luck, I appreciate that. Welcome to you, I hope you're doing well. So finally we got past the hurricane turn. Now we should be fine. We only needed one more of those hellwinds in order to win, basically. Because at this point, it's just story and him attacking you without you getting any turns in between. Yeah, me neither, brusquely, so I'm learning as I'm going. More or less. What other jobs are in Game Boy Advance? The Cannoneer, which I don't really know much about aside from it can do mixes, kind of like the Chemist. I have no idea how strong it is though. Then there is the Gladiator, which is just a buffed up knight, from what I can tell, with crazy abilities. Really strong physical attacker. And then there is the Oracle, which is a super strange and weird class. Like really weird Oracle. But actually also kind of strong if you know how to use it. And then there is the Necromancer here. That's all for.
Enough expository banter. Now we fight like men, and ladies who dress like men. For Gilgamesh, it's morphing time!
Did it say transforming? We got the Excalibur, which is not the Excalibur. If you attack with the Excalibur, you always hit, but you always only deal exactly 1 damage, unless you use Goblin Punch with it. Bonk. So, I want to actually reach the next level, which should be rather soon. Stop! Okay, I don't like this encounter. Those guys will just repeatedly revive others. Thank you. I'm just gonna run away from this encounter next time. That is not worth my time. Hey Yabuzilla, welcome. How are you doing? We don't need much more, but just a little bit. Oh yeah, 2800. One encounter might do the trick. The very latest it will be into Confused, that would be really not friendly. Just not enough. Black Warlocks is one of the few encounters which probably wouldn't give us enough experience there. Alrighty. Dark Death, or Break Death, or something like that. In another level. We are now level 53, if I'm not mistaken. Oh goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that anything that looks like food remotely smells like food or has any semblance of food, make sure it is gone, it is hidden away, because the romper rate has been unleashed. The rabbits will eat everything because they are always hungry, so anything that is just bite-sized, which is anything larger than a melon, please make sure that it's safe. Alrighty, so now we are ready to take on Exdeath. Hello, let me run please. I'm just gonna kill you then if you don't let me run. And as you can see, we now powered up our damage even further. Hehe. Alrighty, actually I'm gonna just use another ether here, because right now I'm not using the gold hairpin anymore. Since with level 53, I need all equipment I can get for spell damage in order to improve my spell power by just enough, or a little bit more, so to speak. So we can reach the next threshold to multiplying our damage further. Stop, let me go. Because we are about to face one of the biggest roadblocks for most classes and most jobs. That big roadblock is gonna be reasonably large as well for the Necromancer, even though it's a bit for different reasons. Upcoming is Exdeath. He has 32,700 and some change HP. After he drops below 16,000 HP, he will start using double turns, in which he uses a lot of level 3 spells and also vacuum waves, which means a lot of physical damage is gonna flying our way. Also in the very first turn, he will use Doom 2 out of 3 times, and I don't think we are gonna be strong enough or fast enough to defeat him before this will kill us, probably. I don't know whether we are fast enough, but I'm just gonna see. So we deal really good damage against this guy. But I don't think this is enough to beat the ticking clock. So unfortunately, being undead does not make us immune to Doom at all in this game. So once the timer reaches 0, we are dead. Also, I forgot. I forgot. I should not use the cottage because that removes my float effect. I used the cottage because that removed my float. Either way, he's already in phase 2. So we are dealing tremendous amounts of damage here. But unfortunately, the timer is just too strong. So, which means every single time he uses Doom in his very first turn, which is a 2 out of 3 chance of happening, we can just reset because we can't win. On the bright side, I don't have to worry about switching over to a Flame Ring or Wall Ring, because I actually need the additional magic power, +1 magic power from the Elf Cape right now. So it's just, let's just hold down the A button and pray. Alrighty, 1 in 3 chance to survive right here. And we didn't survive. Unfortunately, there's not really anything we can do about that. There's just a straight up dice roll. Which is kind of the worst thing for a solo character challenge. If I could slightly alter the AI scripts, this would be one of the things I would change up. I would just make Exdeath not have Doom in his very first turn at all. I'm okay with him having it again in his subsequent turns. But this is just more or less, let's see how many Dooms we can get in a row. There's very, very few classes who would be able to beat that timer. There is actually a few. Or at least one that I can... well, that I know of anyways. The Samurai is able to just straight up beat that Doom clock. Maybe I want the Wall Ring after all. Because let's see, I will deal a little bit more damage with my Hellwind, about I guess 300 each time. But if I just reflect like 2 or 3 level 3 spells, that will have made up for the difference anyways. And I also don't take the damage myself, so maybe Wall Ring is better after all. Even though I would need to get another level in order to reach the same threshold of HP. Hey, there we go. Alrighty. Elwind. Let's go. Reverse polarity is really bad because we don't want to be in the front row, so I want to go in the back row, not defend. This is not good. That was really bad, actually. And also I'm not floating, which is also really bad. Oh boy. Hellwind number 2. We need about 8 Hellwinds, I would guess. Number 3. And we also need a bunch of physical dodges. And we really need Hurricane to not hit us. Number 4. So now he can attack twice. 1 in 3 chance for us to block it, or avoid any attacks anyways. So yeah, Hurricane just straight up killed us. But I think using Wall Ring is probably better, actually. Even though we deal more damage now with that 1 additional level, I feel like the reflected spells will make up for that. Still gonna keep the Sage's Miner, just because it has more defense. Which might make a difference, and we don't really need to preserve MP right now. Alternatively, I could go for 1 more level and get that additional magic power again. By getting the level instead of having more magic power. But I don't feel like grinding. We just need to get lucky enough to defeat him. Let's see real quick. Actually, I'm gonna try anyways. Because we might get lucky enough in the end here for him to cast a bunch of spells that just reflect. Also, I don't think this is that much more damage. Reverse polarity he uses often enough that I might want to start in the front row and then move into the back row through it. But at the same time, we do have a pretty decent chance of resisting it, and he has a chance of not using it. I really wish I didn't use that cottage, because I'm really lacking the float. Boom, vacuum wave. Raga Reflected is 728. Yeah, it's definitely making more than up for the reduced damage. Is it even reduced? It doesn't look like it's reduced. Oh well. We don't survive Doom regardless. Unfortunately, there's no way to get float inside here. With a Necromancer. The only class who can cast float is the Time Mage at this point. Later on, well, that's not true. You could use a Chemist Mix to use float as well. Later on, you have a Blue Mage who can use Mighty Guard, which also includes float. Alrighty, we'll just reset again. I just figured maybe with a reflect ring it would be good enough or lucky enough. To just reflect enough spells that he would destroy himself, but no. We're just not quite fast enough. Actually kind of nice not having any encounters on the way here. It's not particularly unlikely to have no encounters, but sometimes you have a safe game that just has hordes of encounters nearby in the RNG setting. Although right now we have hordes of well, dooms along the way, it looks like. What do you guys think? When do we get lucky enough to defeat this guy? Non-doom start! Yeah, you wish. It's kind of the one, if I had an easy way to alter the AI script to just not start with Doom, but everything else is normal, and he would be able to use Doom on his second trip around the AI, I would use that script. Because it would be so much nicer. But at the same time, you could also kind of consider this to be part of the solo character challenge. Like, it's not particularly interesting, and for most people it definitely is not fun. But in a sense, the longer you take on completing something and when you finally get it, essentially mental willpower in a certain sense might just be part of the equation for what it takes to complete a solo character challenge run. Good morning to you, Fight. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. You hoping before Death 75? Alrighty, let's see. I say we go up to 80. At least at this rate we do. Welcome to you as well, Spleen, yep. Hope you're doing well. What does Doom do anyway? Doom puts a ticking clock above your head, and once it runs out, you're dead. If you don't have enough damage to kill this guy before the clock runs out, there's no way you can win. What is the likelihood of Doom? 1 in 3. Plot King thinks it's the next one. Let's see. 2 in 3 is the chance of Doom to appear. 1 in 3 is the chance for us to not get hit by Doom. You probably meant the next one, didn't you? I would guess. I'm actually gonna do some slight menu cursor movement just to hopefully get different RNG. I don't know whether the Game Boy Advance version works the same as Super Nintendo. Low latency, next one. Alright. Real great to see you, real bartender. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Nope, not this one. I should have kept track of how many Dooms in a row we get. I'm beating the odds. Maybe. I had to play against the odds as a dancer a lot more than here. But it's like, well, eventually we'll win, come on. He's just delaying the inevitable. Yeah, that's my thought as well, Regasin. The thing is, I don't know how rigid the RNG is on the Game Boy Advance version. On the Super Nintendo version, it would be very unlikely it would hit the exact same encounter seed twice. But Game Boy Advance might be a lot more rich. Let's actually just open up this chest. Maybe that changes things a little bit. What is in the chest? Nothing. Supposedly the Excalibur, but it is actually the Excalibur, which is a fake Excalibur that always deals very low damage. Unless you use Goblin Punch. Goblins apparently are really good with fake Excaliburs. And yes, that's the Gilgamesh chest. If you don't open the chest, you don't fight Gilgamesh. My knowledge anyways. And greetings to you, Delphi Knight. Welcome. Thank you for the good luck. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Oh, hey, we actually get to play as for once. I was already going for the reset. Oh boy. Alrighty. One Hellwind. Reverse polarity, we have to move into the back row. Gravity doesn't do anything against him. He has a 1 in 3 chance to not use Earthquake next turn. Which I think Earthquake is actually the thing that deals the least damage to us right now. Oh. No, it's about the same. One more Hellwind would push him into phase 2, and then we hope for no vacuum waves and no physical attacks. Just spells, please. So, 4 more. Oh, he's not in phase 2 yet? No, he is. The Zaga's good. Oh, the physical attacks are really not good. And Vacuum Wave and Faraga. Faraga would actually have healed us if I used the thing. Alrighty. I'm gonna switch strategies and instead go to use the Flame Ring at this point. For anyone who may have just joined us, why did I not heal? Because I can't, because we're undead. The Necromancer is an undead class that has the passive to be undead, which is really not good because he can't heal in combat. So, now I'm equipping the Flame Ring. If he ever uses Firaga or Fire 3, he will heal us. If he uses Blizzaga, it's neutralized. The only spell that will hurt us is actually Lightning Element. But we need to push him into phase 2 as quick as possible in order for that to happen. Yeah, I would have to cast a spell on myself, that's true. But the thing is, I can't. Since my spells always target the enemy and there's no targeting to do. The one thing I could target myself as an elemental attack would be breaking a Venom Rod. But the problem is I can't equip the Bone Mail in order to heal myself with that, since, well, by default the Bone Mail is not equipable by the Necromancer, and even though the Necromancer is undead, that does not mean he is immune against poison or absorbs poison for that matter. That is a property of the Bone Mail. We are also susceptible to all the status effects there are, which the Bone Mail gives us immunity to. So yeah, even though we might get past the first attack, sometimes anyways, there is no guarantee for us, unfortunately, to get any further. Isn't there a keyboard shortcut for reset? Probably. I actually removed all the hotkeys and shortcuts from my emulator so I don't accidentally use them. Because it's happened way too often in the past. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fight one random encounter and save and hope that it might scramble the RNG a little bit in a way where it's gonna be slightly different than before. Back attack. I'm not gonna fight this one. This encounter is no good. You know what I should do? Something someone suggested with a different type of run before. And I should start with the Magos and then switch to the Dancing Dagger right after. The Air Dagger. So yeah, let's try that. Where's my the air lance or air knight? There it is. I just want to put it up higher in the menu, so it's easier to select. I never need to select the high potions in combat anyways, so this is no rush. Alright. Change things up so a little bit. Maybe now we won't have such a seemingly high probability of starting with Doom. The thing is, it's entirely possible that this was just a variance, and me doing this right now just doesn't change anything at all. But considering how rigid the Super Nintendo RNG seems to be at times in the Super Nintendo version, and how easy it seems to fall into an AI loop or an RNG loop, I'm inclined to believe that this is absolutely possible here too. Alrighty. I'll win number 1. We need to land 8 in order to win. Reverse polarity unfortunately means we have to go back into the back row. I'm actually hoping the Magos in the meantime, just to have the 1 in 4 chance to block attacks. That is really not good. That is really not good. Number 2. Because that was half of our health gone. I have to push him into the next phase after his next attack, and he has to heal me with a 5 Raga. Otherwise this is not gonna go anywhere. Let's see. Vacuum wave and an attack. He does have a chance to use 5 Raga there, I think, once he enters phase 2. Can you not break a fire rod on yourself? No, that is not an option in this game. But yeah, the only way to break a fire rod for yourself good start, is by having the enemy have reflect and it reflects over to you. That's the only way. Oh, he missed reverse polarity. Hey, that's nice. I can attack immediately again. That's really good start so far. Elwyn number 3. One more and he would be pushed to the next phase. He gets 2 attacks now, actually. Or only 1. I guess that was kind of the second one just now. Alrighty. Now we hope for him to use Firaga a bunch to heal us and not use any vacuum waves. What did I just say? Alright, Firaga is there. Which he dealt exactly 0 damage. And win number 5. 3 more and we win. Firaga is really nice start, thank you. Blizzaga would also be kind of nice, just because... Hey, thank you. Because it neutralizes it, 0 damage. Alright. 2 more Hellwinds and we win. He decided to skip one of his turns right there. That's nice. 1 more and we win. Alright. We should be fine. Up, there we go. Alrighty, that was good. I feel like we couldn't really have done that, at least not as easily with the other equipment pieces. Alrighty, let me update the death count total now for Exdeath. And that was actually a lot. 21 deaths on Exdeath himself. 80, I guessed it. I did actually. But we did also switch up strategy a little bit. So while the Elf Cape could have neutralized a bunch of physical attacks, especially in the first phase as well, it actually might have broken even with the Flame Ring. But we did get really lucky that he used a bunch of Firagas and also Blizzagas that didn't end up doing anything. Oh well. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okie dokie, we have completed World 2. That was pretty much my goal for today. Next time we will grab the remainder of the dark arts that we can get, beat the game, and then we'll see how long it will take us to potentially grab the remainder of the other dark arts that is still left over. Alrighty, that is that for now. So thank you very much for watching, for listening and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed your stay and well, maybe until next time. Take care and thank you very much.